What's up, everybody? It's Soren Baker, and today on Unique Access, we have the honor and the privilege of being joined by Chris the Glove Taylor. Thank you for coming through, sir.
Man, thank you for having me, bro.
Yes, West Side all day, as we know. So, Glove, man, there's so much I'm just gonna say it now, probably have to have you come back, because there's so much that I've always wanted to ask you and to do a real thorough interview like we're about to start now. So,
I'm at your disposal.
Yes. So, as we were talking a little bit off camera, I wanted to get a little bit into your background and coming up, because especially in these times, I think it's interesting and important to learn perspective. Mm-hmm. And for you, I didn't know that you had gotten bussed. So explain what was going on in your childhood and how and why you ended up getting bussed to go to school.
Okay, so when I was when I went to my elementary school, I grew up on the South Central Los Angeles, mm-hmm. near Florence and, Western, and where the riots jumped off, actually, a little further down by Maine. So over there, this was during integration. See, because I was born in '62, so I used to have to, when I was in Alabama with my mom, we used to have to step off the sidewalk for white people to walk by. Wow. I actually remember that.
Wow.
Okay.
And this is him remembering.
This is me. This is not my great-grandmother.
Yeah, it's not his great-grandmother. It's
him.
him.
As a child, we got to step out. We couldn't go in places, no color. Some signs was up there in the 60s. Y'all don't know this. So we got bussed. They wanted to integrate everybody. Like, y'all ain't cool, blah, blah, blah. Country had a great idea. Let's throw all the school colored and whites together. Because we were colored back then. Whack. So people from now listen, I was from that side of town, but we were not by no means poor. It was a nice house. We had 2 cars. It's just that the neighborhood kids was bad. It's just how it go. And then it wasn't a bad. Okay, so people from the East Coast always come in and say, "Oh man, this don't look like people." You've heard that when you first got here.
Yeah.
Compton don't look like anybody should be getting shot there, right?
No,
nice
when I moved to California, and I went to Compton for the first time, it was different aesthetically in the sense of the grass wasn't as green and all that, but it literally could have been my neighborhood where I grew up.
Exactly.
The houses were around the same size. Some had garages, some didn't.
Subdivisions,
it had a backyard.
The way it was broke down.
I was like, this is Compton? I had no idea.
Because of that. So we were their neighborhoods were like ours. They just were a little bit greener grass, a little bit bigger house, extra bedroom, whatever. I had friends. So what they did was, we used to have to catch the bus. I went to Raymond Avenue, and I got moved to Emerson Manor, which is by the airport LAX in Los Angeles. It's in a nice neighborhood.
Okay.
It's a pretty school right next, when I got there, I was like, wow, because our school was a little beat down, and they just don't take care of them the same. It's all in the school district. Maybe it's a list. I'm not trying to blame that on anybody, but when I got over there, I hadn't been in a classroom that looked like that. It was like the Brady Bunch. Because the Brady Bunch was on TV like every week. Brand new TV show. You know what I mean? It's like the Brady Bunch. That's like saying, what's the big show on TV now?
No.
So that's how we got into the busing. They integrated me to the West Side, and that's when I started my interaction with young people my age of a different color. I was the only black person in my class.
And how, what impact did that have on you?
To be honest with you, it was always like that in LA. Wherever we went, we were like if you really pay attention, when you go places like Hollywood and all that, just regular, you really ain't that many black people. It's like 15% or less. And 15% is like, if it's 100 people, it may be 15.
Right.
It's really like that. All the hot clubs and stuff, you look around. Now, if it's just saw celebrities of a type of music, it'll be a lot of brothers and a lot of people who like that type of thing. But if it's just Manhattan Beach, try to flow through them clubs.
Right.
But it's a joy. Because see, so there's racism, but there's also rareism. When you're the only one, somebody likes you. Whether you whatever color. Oh, that one right there. So I used to get a lot of that action.
Oh, who are you?
Right.
Gotcha.
I'm exotic.
Okay.
Everybody else is white. What you do. So that was my first experience of learning that there really isn't a difference, but then there is. Because they had a thing, I learned about privilege. Like we would go in the store, they could go, but I couldn't go. I was like, why they go? I'm taller.
And what years was this happening?
67 through 72.
Wow.
Yeah, 72. I stopped getting busted. I went back to Raymond Avenue. I was there bused for 4th, 5th grade. Then I went back to Raymond Avenue, finished there 6th grade, and then went to Henry Clay. Stayed back. No more integration. It was just whatever now. They just already integrated. No more busing like that. Now it's bus for if you can't afford to get to school. It's not you got to go to that school.
Right.
Because now we've integrated. See, it worked. We learned about those neighborhoods. We learned that our parents, they didn't know. They're not so much more expensive. So the ones who made a little bit more, integration. So look, after integration came people moving to the west side of color. And then after that became Ladera Heights. That was, you could not move into Ladera Heights being black. It's in the charter. And in 73, they got rid of that, 73.
That's crazy.
And that's when all black people were there. It was all in Baldwin Hills.
Right.
That's the Black Beverly Hills. But then Ladera opened up and all the people who had more money went there. And now we just kind of did what they were feared, it's all black. Because we can afford it. But yeah, that's the story of me being integrated in the...
So as all this was happening, how did you develop the love for music?
Not then. I didn't get into music until I was 12 or 13.
And why do you think that's when it clicked with you?
When I was 11, 12, my mom is of the thought of you got to take an instrument. So I had to take an instrument. So I tried to think of some way out. So I said the organ. Okay. Right? It was electric. So think about this. When I grew up, there's the piano, there's the organ, and then the Fender Rhodes comes along. That's the only two electric things.
At that time.
Electric. You got an electric guitar. Remember that's... There was a guitar, then there's the... See, I'm not that old, but music is not what people think it is. They think, oh, yeah, we've been doing this for blah, blah, blah. We didn't even know. So from there, I learned the organ from a man named Toussaint McCall who had a gold record on the wall, right? And I was like, what's that? And he was like, oh, that's from me playing... He was like Billy Preston. He had a hit record playing the organ. Okay. I forgot the name of it. I think it's Nobody Takes the Place of You. I think that's his hit song. Toussaint McCall, he taught me how to play the organ. So I used to see that on the wall. This is funny because I'm actually remembering this. I never even thought about it. That's the first time I ever saw that. And I was like, what is it? And ever since then, I wanted that.
Yes. I not even on the creation side, but when I got my first gold record, shout out to Noriega for the NORE album, I was like, man, this is a great feeling.
Yeah, right?
It's an amazing feeling. And every time I got one, it was I always caught that high. It was amazing.
I tell you what, somebody is seeing those and getting inspired to death, bro. Like, oh my God. That's what I was like, oh. You got those hanging. Maybe your kids. Somebody's like, oh, I want that. They ain't gonna say nothing yet though.
There's a reason why they talk about the plaques on the wall.
There is. So from that, I learned the organ. And from the organ, I taught myself how to play the piano and the Rhodes and all that because it's a different method. Like the organ is the left-hand chords, right-hand melody, and the fifth is the bass, and then volume. But the piano is accompaniment together, and then the bass is in the left hand. See what I mean? So my bass was the foot. I'm playing this part that's supposed to be played with this hand. So I had to reverse learn, no feet. So I had to teach that. So from there, I started playing songs on the radio with the piano because I could listen to the radio, and then I got into music. Like I was 12, 13, like, oh, it was Boss Skaggs. That's what got me into music.
Okay. So
Dirty Lowdown.
So given that you've had such a long career and you've done so many things with mixing, with producing, with being an artist, with all these different things, how do you think learning an instrument affected your trajectory on your career?
Okay, so I learned this. If you add a musical instrument to a child's development at an early age, their IQ increases. IQ is only how much you can learn, the quotient of your intelligence, This guy can learn this much, we assume. This guy can learn this much. But the guy with the lower IQ may be richer. This guy may have a million ideas and concepts, but can't gather them together because he got a million ideas and concepts, you know what I'm saying? So, I believe that when children get the instrument. If you look, you can see they take the instruments out of the schools of LA Unified, for instance, and the tests go down.
Yeah.
But nobody can correlate that. They call it something else. It's like with COVID. They said it was vape deaths when they were smoking those things, but all of a sudden those are gone. They just all of a sudden stopped. But there's more vape pens out there than there were before. It was something else killing them and they didn't know what it was. Part of it had to do with China because we stopped taking their stuff. You see what I mean? It's like things don't, in hindsight, that's COVID. In hindsight, that's bad to take instruments out of school.
Absolutely.
Lowers the IQ of the nation.
And it stifles creativity. There's so many things.
Which goes on in mathematics, bro.
Right.
So math is creativity by design. It's magic. Really, those numbers don't do that. They can just write. Einstein knows, remember, you ever seen those big formulas they write up there? That's an elaborate incantation, bro. You can make those numbers do and say whatever you want. It's magic, like music. I know it's hard to understand if you look at a beat. Yeah. Those are all numbers.
Yeah, it's all
4 bars, 8 measures, how many times you hit it, triplets, everything is a number. If you could adapt that to math, you would love hearing what you see because you could hear it. So musical instruments created my trajectory, to answer your question. If it wasn't for learning that organ, I wouldn't be doing this.
Yeah, and that's the reason why I asked, because I think people draw inspiration from so many different sources, but then when you have an exposure to an instrument, it gives you a whole different world and a different way to look at things. I, had a very different experience because I didn't enjoy when I was told I had to play instruments. It affected me in a different way, but I still loved the music, so I had to figure out how to be involved in it without actually playing an instrument. So, or I just had the wrong instruments, either way, however we want to look at it. But that being said, when I was first getting introduced to you was through Reckless, which is obviously several years later. Yes. So, so what was going on creatively to your development to lead up to getting a deal with Polydor, and how did that even manifest?
Okay, well, basically, we'll skip over the story, but I was about 18, 19, I'm DJing. And so the rise of DJing, shout out to my boy Julian Jackson, who I just discovered I'm an exact duplicate of. He handed me the actual torch. He was a Billboard reporter. I'll explain what that is, but we used to control the charts for Billboard. It's 100 Billboard reporters, 2 per city, select cities, and so we would, like, I play these records, you give me your top 20, and they create the Billboard, dance chart from that. So we had power. He quit his position, I became the next Billboard reporter, and I was the last one. So it's just that kind of thing, because it's like winning a Pulitzer.
Okay.
Like if you're a writer and you win a Pulitzer, all of a sudden everybody knows about you, all those people. Every book company is after you, they're giving you their stuff, they want you to say something, right?
Yeah.
It was like that, Pulitzer of DJs, Billboard reporter, but because of their publication. So once, I'm DJing, right? So I'm DJing for this club called Radio. They want to make a movie about the club.
Right.
So I'm hearing these guys, they used to come, so Radio, real quick to paint the picture, Ice-T is an MC, so he would introduce whoever was going to perform, and in between he would entertain. So I was like the band. I would come on at 11, I played music to accompany him. It wasn't really for the dance floor at that time. And then he would start rapping, I start cutting, and then people start breakdancing, and the party's on. You know what I'm saying? It's whatever. Right. Then we'll have people come up on stage. So we started noticing, we stood up on stage all night. We could see the people down in, when you're in a club, you can't see who's over there.
Right.
But when you up here, you can see all of them.
Everything.
Oh, Madonna's over there, Prince over there, Michael Jackson in here, different nights, Sting, Miles Copeland, Clarence Avant, little baby Janet Jackson, because there was no age limit. You know what I'm saying? 13, you could come in. So me and Ice are on stage, and I'm thinking, I'm from the West Side. In high school, I played the roads on a damn platform that they used to roll out. I've been on stage a long time, right? And I'm in here going, these people come to see us, bro. So it's like the influencer thing. I don't care if I have 20 followers. If they're Prince, Michael Jackson, Madonna, da 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 da. So we was in there feeling ourselves like, yo, we're their stars.
Right, right.
We're the anti-star. Like all the people who everybody's pop star come see us. So it created this kind of weird atmosphere. And so it was a larger than life. And them dudes said, we're gonna make a movie about this. So they did Breaking. And then they're in the midst of me DJing and stuff, we had a break, and I had a girlfriend at the time who overheard them talking about putting music in the scenes, and they was gonna get Africa Bambaataa. And I had just done Breaking and Entering, and Egyptian Lover taught me, shout out to Egypt, taught me how to work a 808 drum machine.
Right.
So off of my first check from Breaking the week before, I bought one, right?
Okay.
And then I was just learning how to do the beats and getting in there. Reckless was like one of the first ones after Breaking and Entering. Man, those cats was like, Africa Bambaataa, she said, you better go tell them you do music, boy.
Right.
So I walked over there and said, man, I'll do this, bro. You know, I just walked over there like I own the place. And they said, okay, well, we got 2 scenes. We want you to compose them. They gave me this money to do them. So I go in, I don't know what the hell composing is. I can read music and all that. So I'm thinking they want me to compose something, right? Because remember now, this is 1983.
3-ish, yeah.
4-ish, yeah, right, beginning of 84. So it's funny because I go find Victor Flores, who I had been doing bootleg vinyl. So everybody was making mixtapes on cassette.
Right.
Fuck that. I was making the records that they was putting on their mixtapes.
Right, right.
Mixes though. I had Scratch Dance and a couple other break mixes with Victor Flores. So he had an engineer he knew. He said, I know a guy, Dave Storrs, he got a studio. Let's go over to Salty Dog. So he shot me over there. I paid the dude, and he taught me how to compose, bro. He literally taught me. I paid, but he showed me. I mean, you know, we made the music. I took him over to the studio where we were doing ADR and stuff, and he's making me look like Superman, you know what I mean? Because he's an engineer. Right. So I was like, so my experience was, that engineer is the shit. I want to do that, because I'm a DJ, right?
Right, right.
I could make a beat already. I made 2 beats, 4 actually. They went in Missing in Action. I'm hot on beats now. I'm like thinking I'm shit on beats because I got them in movies. Forget that rap stuff. Remember, rap wasn't really, it was, if you was a rapper, it was Run DMC, Beastie Boys, you know.
Be sure to check out the History of Gangster Rap by Soren Baker. He's official.
History of Gangster Rap features exclusive interviews with Ice-T, Snoop Dogg, MC Ren, the D.O.C, and dozens of others. The History of Gangster Rap, a definitive look at how Los Angeles changed rap forever.
In Los Angeles, the streets definitely set the tone of the hip-hop music.
At 19, I got a $50,000 car.
My whole angle always was, I'll be street, but I will always tell you the horrors that go along with this life.
There will be penalties and casualties for just wearing the wrong color in somebody's neighborhood.
And once gangster rap made it from the streets to the TV, the genre exploded.
With Fab 5 on Yo MTV Raps with NWA.
Yo MTV, it just catapulted us from being local heroes to national gangbang rappers.
The History of Gangster Rap discusses it all from 1980 up till today.
It's always gonna be shit happening in the street. You know what I mean? So it's always gonna be something to talk about.
The History of Gangster Rap in stores now.